email said he wanted to retire almost immediately, which was strange because we had never discussed him retire. Then we got on a Zoom call and I realized something wasn't quite right. It's a question for the ages. When is the right time to retire? This client in his early 60s had a job that demanded long hours and complex projects while managing younger, less experienced colleagues who were overeager to share their opinions. It was taking a toll on him. For many, the concept of retiring can feel like a house of mirrors. Everywhere you turn, something distorts the picture. Health insurance, finances, social security. Then sometimes an event happens that makes the choice clearer, as it did for my client. I'll share more of his story in a bit. Welcome to my channel. As the owner of a retirement planning firm, I see this all the time. People running themselves ragged at work, waiting for the perfect time to retire. But here's what I've learned over time. Life and health are fleeting. I encourage my clients to retire as early as they can to enjoy the freedom and the opportunities they've worked so hard for. In this video, I'm going to do two things. First, I'll share 3 indicators that your job is taking a toll on your health, and then I'll share what you should be thinking about if the challenges that you're facing at work have you thinking about retiring sooner than you had planned. If you've ever faced this kind of difficult decision, I'd love to hear about it. Please share your story in the comments. Back to my client. The pressure kept building. The grind was wearing him down and his health suffered, right up until the day he blacked out. Thankfully, he's okay, but that incident was a wake-up call. He was burned out, emotionally, physically, just fried. Research from the University of Michigan shows that burnout often leads to early retirement, with stress peaking just before leaving the workforce and declining rapidly afterward. Similarly, a review in the European Journal of Aging found that high job demands and low control increase stress and burnout, often prompting early retirement decisions. Maybe you know someone like my client or like John. John, a 62-year-old project manager, had been working long hours for years. He started experiencing frequent headaches and muscle tension, but he brushed them off as normal work stress. Eventually, he was having trouble sleeping, often lying awake, worrying about deadlines. One night, he woke up with chest pains and ended up in the ER. Thankfully, it wasn't a heart attack, but his doctor told him the stress levels were dangerously high. John, like my client, realized his health was at risk. And maybe this sounds like a duplicate story, but this actually happens a lot, which is why I'm highlighting it for you again. After discussing it with his family, John decided to retire earlier than planned. It was a tough decision, he said, but I knew I couldn't keep going at that pace without serious health consequences. Now he spends his time volunteering and enjoying outdoor activities that help him stay healthy. You know, your body has a way of telling you when it's under too much strain. Persistent physical symptoms, especially those linked to stress, can be a sign that work is taking a toll on your health. Chronic fatigue, headaches, and even worsening chronic conditions are all red flags. So this is our first mostly obvious variable to consider. Persistent physical health issues. Here's what to look for. Chronic fatigue or exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest. Frequent illnesses such as colds or infections due to a weakened immune system, or worsening of chronic conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, or heart disease. Here's why this matters. Physical health issues tied to work stress can be an early warning sign that your job is pushing your body too hard. Ignoring these signals could lead to long-term health implications, making it harder for you to enjoy retirement when it finally comes. Next, let's turn our attention to your emotional health. Just as vital as your physical well-being, emotional health is deeply intertwined with. If you're feeling overwhelmed, unmotivated, or emotionally exhausted, it's a clear sign that your job may no longer be supporting your overall well-being. A friend of mine, Linda, was a 59-year-old teacher who loved her job when she started her career. But in recent years, the demands had grown overwhelming. Between larger class sizes, additional administrative tasks, and constant emails from parents, she felt like she couldn't catch her breath. She surmised what a lot of people think, that she was having a rough patch. One day, though, Linda realized she hadn't truly enjoyed teaching in years. I was snapping at my students, dreading Monday mornings, and crying in my car after school. After consulting her financial advisor, she decided to retire a year early. It wasn't just about leaving work, it was about reclaiming my happiness. Now that she's retired, Linda tutors part-time and feels herself again. Part-time work as a best of both worlds is a common theme. More on that later. So we certainly need to pay attention to physical health. Declining emotional and mental well-being are also factors. Here's what to look for. A constant sense of irritability or emotional exhaustion, lack of motivation or enthusiasm for tasks you once enjoyed, and difficulty concentrating or remembering details due to mental fatigue. Here's why this matters. Mental and emotional health issues can sneak up on you, often disguised as just a rough patch, like Linda, the teacher I just mentioned, was experiencing. But prolonged emotional strain can lead to burnout, depression, and even physical symptoms. Recognizing these early signs can help you make changes before the damage becomes irreversible. Let's cover one more variable that may be time to consider retirement, and then make sure you stay with me because I'm going to share what you should be thinking about if you want to leave the workforce a little bit earlier than you expected. Let's talk about work-life balance. Fulfilling retirement isn't just about leaving work, it's about rediscovering the life you've been putting on hold. If work is consistently taking priority over your relationships, your hobbies, your self-care, it may be time to reassess. I have a client who's a 64-year-old sales executive. He spent decades building a successful career, but as he neared retirement, he started noticing what he'd missed. His grandchildren were growing up quickly, and he often had to skip their soccer games for work trips. I realized one day that I didn't even know what grade they were in, Mike admitted. After a particularly grueling quarter, he decided to retire early. I wanted to be there for the milestones and the little moments. Now he's a regular at his grandkids' games and spends weekends hiking with his wife. If your work-life balance feels strained, it might be time to consider retiring. Here's what I want you to look for. Missing out on family events or quality time with loved ones due to work commitments, or feeling like there's no time for hobbies, travel, or any personal interests, or struggling to maintain a healthy work-life balance even with small adjustments. Here's why it matters. Your work-life balance is more than a buzzword. It's a crucial aspect of your overall well-being. If your job is robbing you of the time and energy to enjoy life outside of work, it's worth considering whether staying in the workforce is worth the trade-off. Okay, if something is going on in your life, what we've already described, it's time to start getting ready. Unfortunately, balancing the cost of working longer with the benefits of stepping away can feel overwhelming, but breaking it into steps makes it easier. Here's what I want you to think about. First and foremost, I want you to assess your financial readiness. You know a successful retirement hinges on financial stability. Understanding your current savings and future needs will help ensure you're prepared for the years ahead. It may be wise to consult a financial advisor. I know many people think you need to hand over all your assets to work with an advisor. Not so. Many advisors, like me, also work on a project or hourly basis. A good advisor can provide a comprehensive review of your retirement accounts, your investments, and your anticipated income sources like Social Security or pensions. They can also help you estimate how long your savings might last based upon your lifestyle and expected expenses. Every retirement plan must answer 10 critical questions to be worth anything. You can get those questions on my website. There's no email required or anything like that. I'll put the link in the description for you. I have 4 more things for you to think about. First, let's talk about your budget. I want you to take a good look at how you're spending right now and see where you might be able to cut back if needed. Here's the thing. In retirement, I certainly want you to enjoy spending more money while you're younger and healthier. That's the basis of all my work. I mean, those are your golden years, so I want you to make the most of your freedom. But as you prepare for this next chapter, saving more now can make a big difference. You could also consider options like downsizing your house or trimming unnecessary expenses, or even holding off on big ticket purchases to help stretch your retirement funds further. It's all about creating a balance that lets you enjoy life without financial stress. I know we downsized our home a few years back. Great decision. We'll have more resources in retirement because of that decision. Second, let's talk about spending and inflation. While the cost of living will keep rising during retirement, especially healthcare costs, you'll likely find that your overall spending decreases as you age. It's important to build a financial plan that accounts for inflation and these growing healthcare expenses. If you haven't done so already, now is the perfect time to consider long-term care insurance. A lot of people see long-term care insurance as something that protects you later in life, those later years of retirement, but it does more than that. It gives you the confidence to spend more and enjoy life earlier in retirement. The reason is because knowing you've planned for the future helps. Third, create a retirement timeline. Decide whether you want to retire fully or phase into it with part-time work. Phased retirement can provide additional income and help you adjust gradually to a new lifestyle. I have a client that works part-time at a golf course. He loves it. Earns some walking around money, lots of social interaction, and lots of free golf. Fourth, Think about how you want to spend your time in retirement. I'm going to spare you with the speech about hobbies and social clubs for this video. You know all of that. Instead, let me just say that if you don't have outside interests, you're going to watch a lot of TV, like my dad did. I know TV didn't cause his dementia, but it didn't help either. And this is wholly unrelated to financial services, but my family was in the retail wine business for many years. We sold our business in 2007. My dad was 71. I was 41. I kept working. He retired, and he had two hobbies. One was playing basketball, which he did at a very high level into his 80s. His other interest was talking about the street he grew up in Chicago, Division Street, over and over. Division Street. I'm not joking. It was actually really sad. Research shows that excessive TV watching in retirement is linked to cognitive decline. A study from University College London found that older adults who watch more than 3.5 hours of TV a day, they showed poorer memory performance on word recall tests compared to those who were doing other stuff. Another study showed that higher TV viewing was associated with loss of gray matter in the brain, which plays a key role in cognitive function. For my dad, TV became a crutch. Okay, if your job is taking a toll on your health, physically, emotionally, or socially, it's time to pause and ask yourself, is it time to retire? Ongoing health problems, mental exhaustion, and a strained work-life balance are all signals that it might be time to put yourself first. Retirement isn't just about closing one chapter. It's about starting a new one filled with opportunities for happiness and fulfillment. Recognizing these signs and making a change can lead to a healthy, more rewarding life. You've worked hard to get to this point. Now it's time to enjoy everything you've earned. If you need a comprehensive retirement plan or want to take advantage of some hourly consulting, you know where to find me. If you want to watch another one of my videos, it's up here or up here. And thanks for watching.